And right now, folks, we're going to go over to our man, Mr. Greg Johnson. Greg is the president and CEO of Wellgreen Platinum, folks. Wellgreen is a mineral exploration company, does business in the Yukon. And when we're talking platinum, you're talking palladium, and he also has a nickel inside this project. Many of you have known Greg. He's been on here many times, and it's just great to welcome Greg back to TFNN. Hey, Greg, how you doing?
Hey, doing great, Tom. It's great to be back on your show.
It's great to hear from you, man. So tell us, well, first off, it's kind of intriguing because the platinum market, the gold market's flat today. The platinum is down a bit, but you get a little bump up in your stock. So first off, tell us what your new company is all about, Wellgreen Platinum.
Yeah, this is a pretty exciting story, similar to my two previous mining companies, Nova Gold and South American Silver. We've got a very large asset. It's now close to 20 million ounces of platinum and palladium, a little bit of gold.
Okay.
That comes along with an equivalent of another 20 million ounces of nickel and copper. So it's a giant. It's as big as the Donlin Creek project for Nova Gold. In the Yukon Territory, right next to an existing paved highway. We've raised about $35 million over the last 2 years, quietly doing our work in a really tough resource market, doubling the size of the resource and really refining our understanding on the engineering. And the market's just starting to recognize that. We just completed a $9.1 million financing late last week at a premium to market. So we're starting to get smart guys focused in our sector who are paying attention. This is a story that the people need to take a look at here. And
in this environment, folks, okay, it is really tough in the mineral space to raise money, period. The symbol is a WG when you're taking a look at it. So, first off, congratulations, because we've seen plenty of people. Well, listen, the industry in general is really tough right now. There's no doubt. Now, this is an open pit mine, right?
Yeah, so what's particularly unusual, we've talked in the past, Tom, about the other projects I've been involved with in the gold space, and the silver space, and those were open pit operations as well. But in the platinum and nickel space, 95% of the world's production are from deep undergrounds in southern Africa or Russia. And so, it's quite unusual to have the right kind of geology right at the surface where you can extract this material from an open pit. And so that's what makes the Wellgreen project so exciting, that and the fact that it's in Canada, not in a high political risk country.
Sure.
And so, we put together a team here that we've spent our careers working for the major mining companies, working in the north. John Sagman, our chief operating officer, spent 30 years in the industry, 20 years with Xstrata and Vale, the two giant mining companies up in eastern Canada, building and operating PGM nickel mines like Wellgreen. So he's just a great fit. We've engaged some of the top experts in platinum group metals and nickel to assist us with this compilation of historic data on this project. This project was discovered back in the 1950s when they were building the Alaska Highway up through Canada, and they opened up the exploration in this area. It was put into production briefly in the 1970s by one of Canada's mid-sized copper producers. And then, since the late 80s, it's basically been looked at as its open pit potential, with Wellgreen really, picking this up and running with it over the last couple of years.
Now, Greg, how does it work? So inside the mine, you're looking at a mineral, platinum, you're looking at palladium. Talk to me about the nickel, and how does nickel come into play, and what is is nickel in batteries, right? Is that right? No,
Nickel's
that's zinc.
Batteries, it's a hardener in steel. It's a really
hardener in steel. Okay, right.
Metal. So nickel is similar in many ways in terms of a market to that of copper, but it's about 1/10 the size. So in many ways, nickel is to the copper market what silver is to the gold market. It's much more volatile, and the bull markets as well as the bear markets can be extreme in nickel, but highly profitable. And our project, Tom, similar to projects that your listeners may be familiar with in the copper space, where it's a large intrusion-hosted deposit, disseminated mineralization. In other words, it's spread evenly throughout the entire ore body.
Yes.
Very appropriate for an open pit type mining operation. But instead of being copper or copper and gold, we're looking at platinum, palladium, and gold, and nickel and copper. And they all get mined together. They all co-occur.
Okay.
And we use a simple process called flotation to separate the metals from the rock and then produce a concentrate that's then shipped off to a smelter for processing. So our capital costs are modest. Our operating costs are going to be some of the lowest in the industry. And this is going to be, a real heck of a project.
Now, I know that up in Alaska, you would basically, a lot of these minerals are basically in native nations. So up in the Yukon, I believe they're called First Nations, right?
Yeah,
So,
the people in this area are called First Nations. These are the native people.
Yes.
We are in an area that we're working closely with a group called the Kluane First Nation. They're very entrepreneurial and are been incredible supporters of the project. This is the opportunity for them to really build a local economy. They're working closely with the company. An example is they're providing us many of their wildlife studies that have been completed over the decades to aid the permitting process, and we see them as real partners in this venture.
Getting platinum out of the ground, my understanding is getting platinum out of the ore is very tough to do. So how does this work with an open pit mine? I mean, do you just commit and then talk to me how that platinum comes out of the ore, Greg?
Yeah, so actually it's very similar to many copper deposits in that the metal-bearing minerals are spread. They're the highest concentration in certain horizons near the bottom of this. It's like a tabular body, several hundreds and hundreds of feet thick and hundreds of feet deep.
Okay.
It continues for about 2.5 kilometers, about 1.5 miles along the surface. And so what we do is we mine this material, we crush it very finely, we put it into tanks where we add some certain reagents, and we'll be able to separate out the metal very easily from the rock material, dry that concentrate material, then we ship it off to a smelter for processing. So it's actually it's a fairly straightforward. The tough part, Tom, is finding one of these big deposits. It's not so difficult to process.
Okay.
We're using very conventional processing, the same they're using in South Africa or Russia or up in northern Canada. So it's pretty well understood technology. At the end of the day, mining is a pretty straightforward business. The challenge is finding a deposit that's big enough and high enough concentration of metal to be really exciting and interesting to the major mining companies.
Now you must feel really good that you are not out in the middle of nowhere this time, right? I mean, most minerals are in the middle of nowhere. We know that. I mean, West Africa right now has the best gold out there, but getting it in is a whole different ballgame. So geographically, let the people know geographically just how close you actually are.
Yeah, so you're right, Tom. Most of the big deposits that are being found today are occurring in really remote locations in the far north, or as you said, in opening up countries in Africa or other jurisdictions. The Yukon its industry is primarily mining, has a little bit of tourism, but no significant other industry.
Okay.
And we're right next to a paved highway on this project with an existing port that is shipping concentrates from both 2 other operating mines that are in the area. So this is an area where, yes, it's sparsely populated, but you've got all the infrastructure necessary to make a low-cost capital investment and operating cost project that should be quite robust.
Now, what's so intriguing, I mean, the amazing part, Greg, right now, platinum normally trades a couple $100 over gold, and you know that I trade a lot, and we trade a lot, and so I've been telling people that, listen, if you're going to buy gold coins, you might as well buy platinum coins right now, because the differential when it goes back to the mean, platinum is much harder to get and is more valuable because of the fact that platinum is used to take poison out of the air. So it's intriguing that. How did you find the mine?
Yeah, so 2 points that you make. Unlike gold, platinum has a very strong industrial demand, platinum and palladium. So the single biggest use for platinum and palladium is catalytic converters for both gasoline and diesel engines. So, fascinating fundamentals here in this market, where basically we've been seeing about 4 to 5% annual growth, and it's been almost a straight line. And up until 2006 for platinum and 2004 for palladium, the mining industry was increasing supply along with that increasing demand.
Okay.
Last 8 to 10 years, supply has been falling for platinum out of South Africa and for palladium out of Russia. And so you've got this amazing, almost perfect storm for metal prices to rise of the fact that demand continues to go up while mining supply continues to fall. And so the world is going to need deposits like Wellgreen that are outside of those high political risk jurisdictions that come on stream just to meet this rising demand. Because our project occurs right at the surface, in the 1950s, prospectors looking in this area were able to identify it. And then, as is often the case, a number of companies have worked on it since that period to get to the point where we are today, where we have what looks like a world-class prospect.
Hold that thought. We're coming right back, Greg, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Awesome, man. Stay right there, folks. Stay right there. We're coming right back. Welcome back, folks. Guest today is Greg Johnson. Greg is the president and CEO of Wellgreen Platinum, folks. Their website is wellgreenplatinum.com. They trade in Canada under the symbol WG. They trade in the United States in the symbol WGPLF. We're talking with Greg right now. You know, Greg, it's pretty amazing that in the whole world, gold, silver, platinum just happens to be so precious. Why, in the course, I guess one of the largest questions is, why do you think that mine was just laying up there for so long and, you know, people weren't going after it?
Well, you know, the thing about platinum deposits is that they are incredibly rare. They only occur in a few regions globally.
Okay.
You know, most prominent being South Africa.
Yes.
Zimbabwe has some deposits. Russia. There's a belt in the Sudbury district of Canada, eastern Canada, and then up in northern Quebec. And it happens to be that there's also a belt of these very rare rocks. They're from deep in the Earth's crust, so they don't occur very many places globally. But there happens to be another sizable belt that extends from northern British Columbia up through the Yukon and into Alaska. And Wellgreen is the most advanced of those deposits. And it was put into production in the 1970s. But their model was focused on very high-grade material as opposed to taking a large-scale, bulk mineable approach, which we're doing today.
And which is, I guess, what also happens, palladium itself has really, you know, taken off. I mean, palladium used to average about $250. Now you're dealing with about $600, $700, like, right, per ounce.
Yeah, and some analysts, because palladium is the dominant metal used in gasoline engines.
Yes.
You've got about 75% of the vehicles in North America are gasoline versus diesel.
Okay.
And Asia and India look like they're about a similar ratio. So some analysts are more bullish on palladium than platinum, actually projecting them to become parity in pricing, which would be very bullish indeed for palladium, because right now palladium is about half the price of platinum, roughly.
Right. And I know, you know, mines in general take a long time to get up and going. Where are you in the structure, in the mining structure, meaning on a timeline here?
Yeah, so based on our current work that we're doing, we've been doing the drilling and the engineering over the last 2 years to bring the project to the second engineering study that will be updated by the end of this year.
Yes.
Next year, we're going to go to what's called the pre-feasibility level.
Okay.
And then in 2016, so 2 years away, we'll be at feasibility, which is the point at which you have a high enough degree of confidence in your initial investment size as well as the operating cost to get a bank to finance you. So in 2 years, we hope to be basically finishing our permitting process and be in a position to start construction as early as 2017. So that's quite rapid pace for a project of this scale.
No doubt. Folks, it's Wellgreen Platinum. I'm Mr. Greg Johnson. We will definitely have him back. Hey, listen, man, congratulations, you know, because, you know, this has been a wild ride, no doubt. You know, the first time I met you, think about this, we're going back 11 years now, right? And it's like, oh, my God. You know, you talk about minerals in general, you know, going up dramatically, coming back. It's kind of like, my own take on it is that, you know, we've made a bottom here, but it is cyclical, no doubt. You know, that's why I guess they call a commodity, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been interesting, as you say, over the last 10, 15 years to watch the cycle unfold where there was incredible wealth creation from the deep, dark days of 99, 2001, when people were saying gold was going to go to zero. Well, it didn't go to zero. In fact, it went to $1,900 an ounce.
Right.
It was quite a ride, and the other metals went along with that in parallel. And now we've gone through the big 2008 crash, a rebound, and then a quiet but as deep crash since 2011.
Yeah. Right.
Most of these companies have been taken down 90, 95% in value, and yet the assets are still there. And so the opportunity today in the market to pick up high-quality names, those companies that have quality assets that have been able to finance, come into this next market cycle, I think is huge. I think it's like the 1999-2001 type bottom, and I think there's a chance here that we're going to see some huge gains over the next couple of years in this sector.
Yeah, no, listen, you deserve a pat on the shoulder for getting that type of financing up and going, getting that mine going. There's no doubt. Folks, what does happen in this business right now, okay? It is so hard to raise money in the mining business. The money is everywhere. We know the free money is out there, but in the mining business, it's not. So how much did you raise thus far?
So we've raised about $18.5 million in 2014. PricewaterhouseCoopers just published a study on the junior mining space in Canada that said only 26 out of 1,700 junior mining companies were able to raise $10 million or more in 2014.
Yeah,
That's how tough the market has been.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Well, listen, man, we appreciate the update. Look forward to having you on again, and just go get it, man.
Well, we've got an exciting story that's going to be unfolding, Tom, so it'll be great to providing you updates along the way over the next couple of months and into next year.
Awesome. Have a great one, Greg. Have a safe one, man.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Now, you guys have a different Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, we have our Thanksgiving in October, but, I'm originally from the States. So,
that's right. That's Happy Thanksgiving. That's right.
Yeah, you too, Tom. Take care.
Okay, man. Have a great one. Have a safe one.
Yeah.